Adrian's first had cancer. He coldly abandoned me at the altar and made his identical take his place. 3 months later, the first recovered. He hurriedly called his brother. Have you been sleeping in separate rooms with my sister-in-law? She hasn't noticed anything, right? His brother gave a soft laugh. Not yet. He bent his head and brushed a kiss to my forehead. But, brother, why don't you think about getting married again? The instant Adrian accepted my proposal, I thought all those years of holding on had finally been worth it. But half an hour before the ceremony, he burst into the bridal suite and told me in a tone that brooked no refusal, I might be a little late to the wedding. I froze for a second. Did something happen? Adrian frowned, on the verge of saying something, when a message landed on his phone. Whatever he saw made his expression flicker and his voice tighten with panic. There's no time to explain, I have to leave right now. Wait, I snatched at his sleeve. Looking up at him, my voice shook more than I realized. The guests are all here and the ceremony starts any minute. If it's urgent, can't we finish the vows first and then you go? I couldn't imagine what could outweigh our wedding day. He knew better than anyone how much I'd looked forward to this. Countless nights, revising the decor sketches again and again, addressing invitations until my hand cramped. Hannah. He gripped my shoulders, impatience flashing beneath the urgency. Stop being unreasonable. I'm still marrying you. You'll get your ceremony, just 30 minutes late. We've waited years, what's a few more minutes? But, he peeled my fingers off his sleeve, his face cold. No buts. When the music starts, stay put and wait. I'll be back soon. Watching him walk away without a backward glance, my nose stung. I swallowed the sour lump in my throat. But, you only get one wedding in a lifetime. I sat back down, replaying his words, numbing myself with them. Adrian said he'd return. And I wiped my tears and asked the makeup artist to touch me up. My phone rang, Best was calling. She said she'd spotted Adrian heading toward Riverdale and asked what was going on. A knot of dread formed in my stomach. Riverdale? Why the airport? I found out seconds later when an Instagram notification chilled me to the bone. Lena had cancer. Terminal. Adrian probably wasn't coming back. Lena was Adrian's first. She'd gone abroad for college, and Adrian had been wrecked when she left. I thought my devotion over the years had finally healed him. In the end, I'd only soothed myself. I stood hollow-eyed inside the cathedral while whispers rustled through the pews. Where's Adrian? Don't tell me he jilted her. He said he'd be delayed, but this long? Maybe he got cold feet. I heard his first walked out on him and nearly cost him half a life. Poor Hannah chased him for more than a decade and he still didn't want her. Their glances slid toward me, heavy with pity and disdain. Each sentence tightened an invisible fist around my heart until I couldn't draw a full breath. Adrian and I had been engaged since childhood. When we were kids he teased me, bought me gifts, took me on outings. Freshman year, a classmate confessed to me. Adrian stepped between us, slender, aloof, eyes like frost. Hannah's my fiancée. If you want to pursue her, ask me first. One sentence, simple, arrogant, and I was lost. Everyone around us assumed we were meant to be. But sometime after that, he changed. Adrian, your little childhood sweetheart is here again, someone shouted. A flicker of panic crossed his face, he yanked me into a corner. His voice was icy. College entrance exams are coming. Can you stop looking for me? I stared at him, stunned, he'd never spoken to me like that. Adrian, who is she? A girl called behind me. She looked gentle, but her eyes held unmistakable hostility. For the first time I saw Adrian flustered. It's just the neighbor's kid, he answered coolly. I should have you understood then, he didn't love me. For sure enough, in college he dated that girl, Lena. I was ready to give up. But the day Lena flew overseas they fought and split. Adrian wandered the streets, shattered. I trailed him into a bar and watched him down bottle after bottle until he was blind drunk. Finally I yanked the whiskey away. Stop it. Is she worth destroying yourself over? It's just a breakup. What do you know? He snarled. Adrian, is Lena your whole world? She doesn't love you, but someone else does. He shoved my hand aside, eyes bloodshot. Someone who loves me? Don't tell me that's you. My pride crumpled under his sneer, but I lifted my chin. Why not? He laughed, disgust curling his mouth. Quit throwing yourself at me. Even without her, I could never like you, Hannah. Our engagement? Consider it broken. He turned back to the bottle. I looked away, forcing the tears back. Adrian collapsed soon after, unconscious for days, feverish. I stayed by his bedside. His identical, Chase, was there too. He's a grown man, he won't die. Why nurse him every day? Chase drawled from the window. I'm his fiancé. It's my job, I answered without looking up. Is it only because of the engagement? If that didn't exist, would you still like him? His tone was lazy, almost indifferent. I hesitated, wrung the towel, and laid it on Adrian's burning forehead. My feelings aren't tied to any contract. The thrill of teenage admiration, the ache of first love, even knowing his heart lay elsewhere, I still dove headfirst like a moth to flame. Besides, you visit every day yourself. People say you two hate each other, but you seem pretty close. Chase's brows pinched. Who says I come because of him? I'm here because, he stopped mid-sentence. Because what? I glanced up, meeting his shadowed eyes. After a beat he shrugged. Forget it. He snatched the towel from me. What are you doing? Wiping his sweat. He's my brother, caring for him is only natural, right? He said coldly, scrubbing Adrian's face with rough strokes. Come on, brother, your beloved little brother is giving you a sponge bath. Wake up and do it yourself. Lying there like a houseplant, talk about wasting oxygen. Not that I enjoy cursing you, but you got wasted over a breakup, ended up half dead, and now I'm stuck babysitting. Selfish, huh? I just stared. Later Adrian woke up. From then on he treated me gentler. I stayed beside him, sharing my day, bringing herbal tonics, learning to cook his favorites, picking birthday gifts. A month ago he finally let go of the past. Hannah, let's get married. The happiest day of my life. He even helped choose the rings, took engagement photos. So why did he lie and leave me standing alone? 6. I shut my eyes, every ounce of strength drained out of me, leaving a hollow ache. The murmuring grew louder until a clear voice cut through. Sorry I'm late. A figure appeared in the doorway, eyes cool, ignoring the gossip, walking straight down the aisle. Hope flickered, then sank. It couldn't be Adrian. While I stood frozen, my hand was taken in a warm, unfamiliar grasp. Adrian never held my hand. Let's begin, he told the officiant. I blinked, dazed. Sensing my stare, he looked down, calm, guarded amber reflected my face. Only one person could mimic Adrian so perfectly, his identical, Chase. So this was what Adrian meant by he'll come? The irony tasted bitter. If he'd never wanted me, why agree at all? My heart was ashes. A marriage born of business is the most heartless kind. The moment I said yes, every escape route vanished. I followed the script without a ripple. Then, just after the vows and the ring exchange, a shadow fell across my face. Back to earth, a low voice murmured beside my ear. The next second an arm hooked my waist and unfamiliar lips landed on mine. Only then did I remember, there was a kiss written into the ceremony. I jerked my head back. Teeth met teeth, he pried my mouth open, deepening the kiss until every corner belonged to him. Why mind went blank. I stared, dazed. His eyes were shut, lashes like jet feathers, each one distinct, kissing me as if nothing else existed. Only after did I realize, Chase. He'd gone straight for the kiss. The tips of my ears burned. By the time I recovered enough to push him away, it was already over. 7. That night I sat on the bed, thoughts tangled. Adrian had asked Chase to impersonate him. Whatever he'd said, the goal was to keep me in the dark. I hadn't expected Chase to agree to something so insane. Before I could think further, he stepped out of the bathroom, a loose robe barely knotted, broad shoulders tapering to a narrow waist. With no expression he looked cold, aloof, exactly like Adrian. I couldn't decide whether to expose him. I averted my gaze. Where are you planning to sleep tonight? His brows lifted slightly, he strolled over as if nothing were wrong. Hey, what are you doing? I flinched at his sudden move. He knelt between my knees, braced one hand against the headboard, caging me in. What do you think? Eyes lowered, he answered in Adrian's measured tone. Where else would I sleep but here? It's our wedding night, surely you're not kicking me out. Up close, the scent of his body wash clung to his skin, laced with steam. Meeting his dark gaze, I instinctively shuffled sideways. Maybe, let's just skip tonight. Exactly how much had Adrian paid him? He was playing the part to the hilt. Skip it? His irises darkened. He pinned my wrists and pressed me to the mattress, lips brushing my ear. I've waited a long time for this night. Cool lips skimmed my cheek, reminding me of the kiss at the altar. Heat exploded across my face. At the same time the unfamiliar warmth of his body settled over me. Afraid he'd go further, I blurted the first thing I could, Chase. He froze, face blank. Why call him that? Call me husband. I shoved him. Stop pretending, I've seen through you. Have you? He curved his lips, a flicker of regret slipping through his eyes. He didn't push further, the play acting ended. He flopped onto the bed, arms behind his head, casual again. When did you know? From the first look. Your brother never touched me, let alone took my hand. Still, I hurled a pillow at him. What did he promise you to make you stoop this low? He answered honestly, 5% equity. My jaw dropped. That much? He nodded, giving a lazy grin. Exactly. When the price is that high, even sacrificing my virtue is worth it. Thing is, my brother's a real piece of work, ditching you at the wedding. Chase propped his head on one hand, studying me. Taking his money makes me feel a little guilty. We look identical, why not treat me like him and let me replace the groom? I smashed the other pillow into his face without hesitation, then dragged him out and shoved him into another room. I shut the door and collapsed on the bed, still catching my breath, when my phone buzzed with an Instagram notification. Lena had posted. I hesitated 2 seconds, then clicked. Is today my lucky day? He really came to see me. Even cooked congee, heart. Below was a photo shot from straight in front of Adrian. He sat on the bedside, spoon lifted, about to feed the camera, Lena. His gaze was tender, cautious. Looking at it, bitterness spread through me. So this was how he treated someone he loved. The night before the wedding Adrian had asked me to teach him to make herbal tonic. Why the sudden interest? I'd asked, delighted, he'd never wanted to learn before. His face darkened. Forget it if you don't want to. I'd grabbed his sleeve and showed him how to make simple congee. When it was done he stared at me, voice tight. How does it taste? Back then, seeing the hope in his eyes, I dared to fantasize that maybe he liked me a little. Tonight that photo told me the truth, he'd learned it all for Lena. 9 weekend. Eleanor told Chase and me to come for lunch. I searched the house, he was nowhere, until I spotted him on the terrace, on a call. I was about to walk over when an angry voice leaked from the phone. I told you to play the part, not make out with her in front of the whole cathedral. I froze. It was Adrian. Chase lounged in the chair, arm draped over the rest, holding the phone away from his ear. You never said I couldn't. Adrian exploded. Do I have to spell out every last damn thing? Chase gave a soft laugh. You call me at 3 a.m. to fly back and stand in for you, then run off to your first without a word. How am I supposed to know what's allowed? He rose, glanced at the skyline, smile curling. Besides, even if I did sleep with her, so what? You're halfway around the world, planning to race back? A weird silence, then Adrian's voice cracked with panic. You slept with her last night. Chase. His tone iced over. Listen. Lena's sick, she needs me. I can't stand Hannah, but she's still my wife on paper. If you've touched her, forget the shares, you won't get a cent. Chase straightened, cold amusement in his eyes. It's only money. You think he broke off, he'd turned and seen me. His face slackened, all earlier composure gone. Think what? That you don't care? Adrian sneered. Chase looked away, composure snapping back. Nothing. You're right, hell yes, I care about the money. Relax, brother, just joking. We slept in separate rooms, nothing happened. Stay put, I've got things here. Later, 10 he slipped the phone into his pocket and came over, bright smile in place. Need me for something? At noon we drove to the Vance estate for lunch, but after that call I ignored him the whole ride, face like ice. Half an hour later, as we stepped out, he suddenly caught my hand. I tried to yank free, he held tighter. What are you doing? He winked, voice coaxing. You heard him, my brother begged me to play Saint Adrian, but he's lousy with words and has the charm of a cactus. Dad's got a volcanic temper, if he swings, could you run interference? Shield him? Remembering how the two brothers had conspired, I exploded. You chose to help him. I've kept quiet, don't expect me to save you. He sighed and gently clasped my hand again. Sis, I'm sorry, I screwed up. But let's not fight the money, okay? His eyes turned serious, hands settled on my shoulders. It's 5% of Vance, worth billions. If it helps, I'll split it with you 50-50. The furious retort died in my throat. He certainly knew how to negotiate. Soon I understood why he was willing to bribe me. Before we even reached the door, Victor stomped out from the backyard. The urbane patriarch held a 1-meter wooden pole, murder in his stride. Chase's grip tightened, but his face stayed calm. Adrian calm. Dad, what's with the stick? Victor barked a laugh, jabbing a finger at him. Don't you dare dad me. What was that stunt at the wedding? Think you're untouchable? You promised me, then vanished, switched off your phone and left Hannah standing there like a fool. Chase said nothing. He put on a cold act, but his hand gripping mine wouldn't let go. Fine, giving me the silent treatment, huh? You actually think you're in the right? The cane was already slicing through the air toward him. My pupils shrank. I lunged and caught the stick, shouting, "Dad, calm down. Hannah, don't shield him. Move aside and let me beat this ungrateful son to death today." The corner of my mouth twitched as I threw myself in front of Chase. After much coaxing, I finally talked Victor down. 11. Our two families had been friends for generations. Victor and Eleanor had treated me like their own daughter since I was little. At the dining table, Eleanor clasped my hand and circled around the real question. "Hannah, how are things going with Adrian?" I instinctively glanced at Chase. His face was blank. He ate in unruffled silence. You had to admit Adrian's money had been well spent. Chase played him to perfection, good enough to fool even Victor and Eleanor. "Pretty good," I answered, playing it safe. "Good, my foot." "Hannah, don't lie to us. You spoil that boy too much." Victor's short fuse flared again. "Adrian, you'd better confess, why were you late to your own wedding? All these years, have you or haven't you cut ties clean with that ex-girlfriend of yours?" Chase set his chopsticks down and said flatly, "That's not your concern." Me. The reply sent Victor's temper sky high. He slammed the table and jabbed a finger at Chase. "Insolent whelp. Watch your tongue. Hannah's sitting right here, answer me, have you still not gotten over your ex-girlfriend? If you think so, then yes." Chase's face was ice, his tone indifferent. "The wedding went ahead as scheduled, the rice is cooked. What's the point of this now?" Me. Victor's eyes reddened with rage. He grabbed the walking stick again and would have struck if Eleanor and I hadn't wrestled it away. "I never should have agreed to marry you to Hannah. Had I known what a piece of work you are, I'd have picked your identical, Chase, instead." Victor's finger shook with fury. Chase didn't bat an eye. He stood up, gave Victor a cool once-over, and said, "Fine, switch us then. It's not too late. We look exactly alike, alter the marriage certificate and outsiders will never notice." Victor exploded. "How did the Vance family raise such a bastard?" Me. You had to hand it to the brothers, no ordinary actor could pull this off. As you can imagine, dinner was a disaster. 12. A little over a month passed. Throughout, Chase played Adrian's part with scrupulous care, while Adrian himself seemed to have vanished from the earth. He hid well, but he didn't know his own people had sold him out. Lena had kept my WhatsApp. Lately her Instagram feed was non-stop. Without her I'd never have learned that, for more than a month, the two of them had basically circled the globe together. They strolled, dined, toured, did everything side by side. Every time I saw a post I numbed myself with the thought, Lena's terminal, she doesn't have long. Why begrudge a dying WOM? Then today she uploaded something new. No caption, just a photo. Two hands, fingers laced. I told myself it was only hand-holding, no big deal, until my eye snagged on the lower right corner. My phone clattered to the floor. For a heartbeat everything stopped, my mind went hollow. In that corner, deliberate or accidental, the shot caught the floor. Clothes lay tangled, unmistakable evidence of last night, among them Adrian's shirt. The shirt I'd spent hours choosing at the mall and given him on his birthday. 13. I sat slumped against the wall, numb. Since falling for Adrian I'd kept every man at arm's length, afraid he'd be angry. I'd thought that might make him look at me, what a joke. He never cared. Even when Lena dated him while flirting with half a dozen other guys, hadn't he still worshipped her? My heart was ashes. I tried to drown the ache in alcohol, apparently I overdid it. I drifted off and woke up at night. This past month I'd kept Chase at arm's length, we slept in separate rooms. We lived under one roof yet might as well have been strangers. Now, maybe it was the alcohol, maybe spite toward Adrian, I don't know. Head spinning, I stumbled into Chase's bedroom and snapped his laptop shut in the middle of a video call. "Possessed?" I asked. "I'm scared to sleep alone, will you stay with me?" The air froze. After a long moment came a soft sigh. "No." Chase glanced at my hand on his arm, voice sullen. "The wedding night I hadn't read the contract. I thought I was bound to share your bed, so I offered a freebie and you turned me down. Now you've missed your chance. You heard my brother on the phone, if I lay a finger on you I can kiss my equity goodbye." Adrian, always Adrian. The name scraped my nerves. Fine, no means no. I flung his hand off and marched back to my room. 10 minutes later a bathrobe Chase knocked. 14-inch changed your mind? I frowned. He exhaled. "You said you were scared. Brother isn't here, I can't just ignore you." He lounged on the bed, one knee bent. Whether by accident or design, the thin robe slid to mid-thigh, hiding just enough while showing the clean power of his legs. A picture worth 1,000 calories, yet I felt nothing. The alcohol was kicking in harder, all I wanted was sleep. I looked away and reached for the lamp when he spoke. By the way, you don't have a habit of groping people in your sleep, do you? I stared at him deadpan. He explained, just saying, I usually sleep nude. Fresh out of the shower, under this robe it's vacuum city. My gaze flicked downward on reflex. Eyes up, he snapped, ears red, yanking the hem shut. He'd brought it up. He went on, ground rules, brother says no touching, if I do, my equity stake evaporates. We're partners, so for the sake of that 5%, keep your hands to yourself. Especially after midnight, I'm a heavy sleeper. How heavy? You could explore every inch and I'd stay dead to the world. Well, unless you hit the no-fly zone, then I'd wake up. Anyway, as I was saying, brother. The name conjured Lena's photo, my headache flared and sleep fled. The annoyance piled up until the liquor smashed the last dam. What are you doing? Rebellion took over. Ignoring his shock, I swung the leg over and straddled him. His whole body locked the instant we touched. That 5% means more to you than anything? I held his gaze, voice flat. Over a month of acting, can't let it go to waste. He turned his face away, uncomfortable. Get off, if brother finds out, and if I refuse? I met his widening eyes, sealed his lips with mine, and let my fingers trail to the belt of his robe. Wait, a ragged breath, he trapped my hand. You've been drinking? The playful mask was gone, his voice was low, serious. So what? I know exactly what I'm doing. Before he could lecture me again I kissed him, only to be pushed back. I could kill him. Chase was breathing hard, palms clamped on my waist, fighting himself. Look at me, I'm not Adrian. I know, you're CH. ASE. I snapped. While he stared I yanked the belt loose. Fabric tore as I tumbled him back and claimed his mouth. But the tide turned fast. 15 next morning. I woke curled in someone's arms, skin on skin. Both of us naked. You're awake? Chase lowered his head and brushed a kiss against the corner of my mouth, his mood apparently soaring. My whole body went rigid, even the ache pulsing through every muscle was shoved aside. I stared at him, disbelieving. Last night. He hugged me tighter. Apparently just awakened himself, he buried his face in the curve of my neck, chuckled low, voice husky and thick with lingering desire. Everything that should and shouldn't be done. I don't want the equity stake anymore, so when exactly are you divorcing my brother and marrying me? A tidal wave crashed through my chest. Embarrassed, I cautiously pushed him away. I think I was drunk last night. The air froze. The smile vanished from Chase's face. What do you mean? Pass out, cash out, toss me aside? Or do last night's promises mean nothing? I don't remember. Chase's expression darkened. I wrestled with myself 2 seconds, then asked nervously, what did I say? Could you remind me? He went silent. Studied me a few beats, then spoke slowly. Last night you roughly stripped me and told me not to hesitate, just hand myself over fast. No feelings? No problem. Get you off first, feelings can grow later. Sleep together enough and love will follow naturally. You also said not to be scared, after tonight I'd be yours, you'd take responsibility, marry me. Unbelievable. Had I really said that? Maybe. Possibly. I did sort of remember him resisting a few times, and patience has never been my strong suit. But I don't talk like that. Still, Chase has no reason to lie. When I stayed quiet, his face chilled further, as though sure I'd bolt. Without waiting for an answer, he yanked the covers back, scooped his clothes off the floor, and stood to dress in irritation. Half way through, he discovered the robe hung in tatters, its belt long gone, clearly unwearable. A perfect picture of indecent exposure. His complexion worsened. He glanced back, shooting me a look full of wounded accusation. I guiltily averted my eyes. Want to talk? Objectively speaking, the view was spectacular. The moment the forbidden image flashed again, my earlobes burned. He gave a cold snort. What's to discuss with a con woman who steals bodies? Yet, even as he said it, he peeled the ruined silk off, flung it down, and sat on the bed sulking. So what if an entire month of pretending went down the drain? Not only did I fail to grab the equity, I threw myself in as bonus. So what if I've never even dated, got played, became second-hand, and maybe can't find a wife in the future? Yeah, it's all self-inflicted. I asked for it, believed your sweet talk, let impulse win, my fault, entirely my fault. Too many words, my head throbbed. I couldn't help glancing over, and forgot he was still naked, nothing shielded. Accidentally, my gaze landed exactly where it shouldn't. Heat flooded my cheeks. I tried to jerk my eyes away, but he caught me red-handed. Eyes off me. He glowered, yanked the blanket to cover himself. You've already devoured me, isn't that enough? Stop staring. You're nothing to me, what gives you the right to look? Me. I looked away, silent several seconds. Finally I steeled myself and said calmly, I'll divorce Adrian. His face stayed stony. You mean it? I nodded. I've thought it through. He doesn't love me, our marriage was only a contract. I'm done wasting time, it should have ended years ago. As for you, I lifted my gaze to him. Chase turned his profile, self-mocking, right, pretend nothing happened? No, I said firmly. I'll take responsibility. He blinked. You're not lying? I shook my head, awkward. We slept together, and I did force you. Morally, legally, I owe you. It was as if he'd heard life-changing news, joy sparkled in his eyes. He pulled me to him in one motion, kissing me again and again. I knew it, with the show I put on last night, you couldn't bear to dump me. Me, one drunken surrender led to countless sober abandonments. From that night on, Chase insisted we share a bed. His rationale, premarital quality check, let my future wife sample the goods nightly. What's wrong with that? I couldn't argue. At first it felt odd, but his enthusiasm, his initiative. Honestly, who could stay calm with a gorgeous, naked man asking for cuddles every night, begging you to curl up in his lap? He knew every trick of seduction. Under his orchestrated temptation, intimacy became routine. Gradually my guilt morphed into something else. Time and touch really do breed feeling. He'd been right, it was, undeniably, mind-blowing. Tonight, after another marathon that lasted until pre-dawn, I was too limp to lift a finger. Half asleep, I heard his phone ring. I tightened my arms around him and mumbled, don't go. He laughed softly, kissed my forehead in promise. Feeling him slide back beside me, I nestled closer and drifted off. 17 At this precise moment, on the reverse side of the planet, Adrian burned with impatience as he dialed Chase's number. Call after call, declined. What the hell is Chase doing? Pick up. Fidgety, Adrian rang again. Several seconds later the line finally opened onto a lazy, gravelly voice edged with after-sex annoyance. Yeah, what? Hearing that tone, Adrian's brows knitted, he recognized the sound of recent action. You were just. Show some restraint. Quit sleeping around under my name. Having Chase impersonate him was risky enough. If Hannah discovered the substitute was fooling around, how would Adrian explain? She might flare up at him for the mere suspicion. He didn't want her hurt. A light laugh drifted over the line. You woke me for this? Adrian hesitated, memories of Lena's deceit flooding back. A month earlier, after traipsing across the globe with Lena, she'd said she was dying, wanted one last time with him, her final wish. He hadn't refused. Once her wish was granted, he'd mapped a plan. As soon as she passed, he'd fly straight home to his little childhood sweetheart. Yes, he regretted everything. Barely a month away, and he already missed Hannah. But Lena's luck held, death never came. He could only postpone, telling himself a few more days can't hurt, she can't last long. To his shock, those few days stretched past a month. Nights and days, she clung to him, constantly demanding. At first the thrill was intoxicating. Soon it became monotonous. Still, pitying her, she had no one, he obliged each plea, letting her believe in the dream she'd spun, a dream shared only by Lena and the man she thought was hers. Last night that dream shattered. Lying beside him, Lena talked in her sleep, revealing the truth, she was never ill. Her goal all along, carry his child. No wonder she forbade protection. And she still fantasized about marrying him, about breaking him and Hannah apart. The audacity enraged him. He cursed himself for not seeing through her sooner, for robbing Hannah of the complete wedding she'd deserved. Yet disaster carried its revelation. These 3 months had shown him who he truly loved, had always loved, Hannah. Even when he was with Lena, his mind had been filled with Hannah. Caught up in visions of the future, Adrian's lips curved. During this time you slept in separate rooms so my wife wouldn't get suspicious, right? He hadn't seen her in 3 months, how was she? He'd ordered Chase not to touch her. Did she feel abandoned, cry from hurt? The thought tightened his chest, he itched to fly back and fold her into an apology. Luckily he would soon return, tomorrow afternoon at the latest, and make up for every lost bridal night. From then on he would be hers alone, forever. There was a pause on the line before the lazy answer came, no. Why do you ask? Adrian exhaled in relief. Good, nothing suspicious. Smiling, he said, you can top being me. I booked a flight tomorrow, arriving by afternoon. Move out before then so Hannah doesn't spot you. Thanks for everything. When you're free, we'll sign the equity transfer papers. He expected gratitude, instead Chase gave a soft laugh, as though the whole thing were a joke. He let out a scoff and said, airy as a shrug, forget it. He frowned, puzzled. You don't want the equity stake anymore? After Chase hung up on him, Adrian's face looked like a sky about to split. His knuckles bleached around the phone. Chase's teasing, laughing voice kept knifing through his head. Ran said yes, she's marrying me. So, brother, maybe it's time you planned another wedding of your own? He refused to believe it. How could Chase's words be true? He had to be lying. Ran loved him, had always loved him, dreamed only of marrying him. How could she bear to divorce him? Right? Impossible. It had to be spite, payback for being left at the altar. Adrian's mood lifted a little. So his Ran was even learning to team up with Chase to make him jealous? Fine. Tomorrow he'd fly home and coax her properly. And he'd warn her never to scare him like this again. 19 The next day. Chase told me Adrian was coming back. I was calmer than I'd expected, no storm inside me at all. Perfect. I'd use the moment to spell out the divorce. Adrian landed earlier than planned. When he saw Chase in the living room, the smile slid off his face like melting frost, his expression darkened. Why are you still here? I told you to get out. Chase arched an eyebrow. Waiting for my wife. Chase, cut the crap. Ran is my wife, enough with the jokes. Chase, I shot him a look before he could fire back. We'd agreed, silence, just watch. He clamped his mouth shut, sulking, threw me a pitiful glance, utterly wronged. Adrian, let's divorce, I said without preamble. Divorce? Adrian's brows drew together. Ran, quit the tantrum. I admit teaming up with Chase to fool you was wrong, but I had reasons. Lena C.A. led saying she was dying, she begged to see me one last time. Afterward, since she has no family, I stayed to take care of her for a while. Afraid I'd explode, he hurried on, but it's over. I swear I'm finished with her, no contact ever. Tell you what, let's hold another wedding. This time I won't miss a second. I'll give you the perfect ceremony, let's start fresh. Forgive me, Ran, okay? For once, there was no cold contempt in his eyes, only love. That timid, tender look was exactly the one he used to give Lena. A wave of nausea rolled through me. I frowned. You were just taking care of her? Adrian nodded. She's been in a hospital bed for 3 months. If you don't believe me, here's her oncologist's number, he'll testify. He actually pulled out his phone to dial. My frown deepened. No need. You believe me? Joy surged in his eyes. I stayed silent and slapped a stack of Instagram photos I'd printed from Lena's feed onto the table. The moment Adrian saw them, the blood drained from his face. Hannah, it's not what you think, listen, my temples throbbed. Talking to him had never felt this tiring. I cut him off. Nothing to explain. Whatever you did, whoever you want next, I don't care, and I don't need details. Pick a day, let's sign the divorce. Panic flooded his face. No, never. Hannah, I will never divorce you. 21 months later. Despite every roadblock Adrian threw up, the divorce was final. The ink had barely dried when Chase whisked me straight to the courthouse and married me the same day. Today is Victor's birthday gala. Chase, apparently fearless of a beating, has gone to discuss next month's wedding guest list with Victor. He's barely walked away when Adrian finds me. A few days have carved trenches under his eyes. His handsome face is pale and unshaven, edged with a haggard weariness. Hannah, he whispers, voice shaking, you really don't want me anymore? You loved me so long, why marry Chase? Were those years of loving me all a lie? Me, his face torts. I don't care what happened between you and him. Come back, none of it matters. Say yes, and we start over, just us, no Chase, no Lena. He reaches for my hand, I step aside. A bitter smile twists his lips, turning him even paler. Still won't forgive me. I frown. Stop flattering yourself. The day we divorced I spelled it out, I'm with Chase, has nothing to do with you. Likewise, if you marry Lena tomorrow, I won't spare a single comment. I think that will finish it, but Lena's name jerks him like a live wire. Don't mention her to me. I never loved her, never wanted to marry her. Nearby guests turn to stare. He grips my shoulders, eyes shot red. Can't you see? The only woman I've ever loved, ever wanted forever, is you, Hannah. A delighted female voice rings out, Adrian. We look over, Lena, a gentle swell under her silk dress. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Adrian's face drains wide as if lightning had struck him square. 18 Aftermath. In the end Adrian was forced to marry Lena. With him out of my way, everything slid neatly into place. On our wedding day Chase took my hand and led me down the aisle again, no absences, no regrets. Except, one night while we were trying for a baby, Eleanor and I chatted, and she let slip Chase's claim that he sleeps nude? Total lie. The man owns at least 30 pajama sets, no repeats. He'd plotted to seduce me from day one. Adrian's side story, they made him marry a woman he doesn't love. He knows the child isn't his, the dates don't add up, but it changes nothing. Victor threatened him, the scandal had already detonated in front of Riverdale's elite, marry or watch the Vance name burn. Deep night. Adrian sits on the floor, numbly draining bottle after bottle. Never in his life has he felt this much regret. He envies Chase, has always envied him. His younger brother excels at everything. Adrian has lived in that shadow since childhood. One day he discovered Chase was in love with Hannah. Maybe it was pure competitive spite, but he began cozying up to her, coaxing her to fall for him, only so he could dump her later. Imagining Chase heartaching as the girl he loved pined for Adrian, hiding to cry, gave him a dark thrill. Not long after, Lena fought with him over Hannah. Through tears she screamed that he'd never loved her, asked if he wanted Hannah instead. He didn't care whether Lena stayed or left, he drove her to the airport in silence, her accusations echoing. Love? How could he possibly love Hannah? Bottle after bottle, until the alcohol conjured hallucinations, Hannah stood before him. When he woke days later, his childhood friend was slumped at his bedside, having watched over him the whole time. Maybe, marrying her wouldn't be so bad. On the eve of that wedding, Lena called, terminal cancer, months to live. The buried need to win flared again. He knew Hannah loved him beyond reason, so he phoned Chase, ordered him to stand in at the cathedral. Let his brother witness just how deeply the woman he coveted adored Adrian himself. Yet the instant he saw the wedding photos, he lost composure, felt rage he'd never known. How dared Chase kiss her? And Hannah, couldn't she tell it wasn't him? Regret pierced him. Life with Lena brought no joy. He escorted her places only to kill time, boring, hollow days. Then one night Lena stripped and clung to him, pleading for sex. Spite still festered, Hannah hadn't noticed the switch for 3 whole months, so out of retaliation he obliged. Once became twice, and after that there was no stopping. When he finally uncovered Lena's lies, he flew home. Those 3 months away had taught him exactly how much he loved Hannah. He couldn't wait to see her. But she was already with Chase. She asked for a divorce. Something inside him caved in, an emptiness he still can't fill. He lost his childhood sweetheart. Lost her with his own 2 hands. The end.